Don't look back, you'll die. Those words echoed in Jasmine's mind as she made her way through the dimly lit alley, the city's skyscrapers looming over her like silent sentinels. The streets were empty, the usual hustle and bustle of downtown reduced to a ghostly silence. The only sounds were her hurried footsteps and the distant hum of a city that felt far too quiet. Jasmine wasn't one to believe in superstitions, but the voice she'd heard just moments ago, raspy, menacing, and seemingly right beside her, had shaken her to her core. She hadn't seen anyone when she turned around, yet the feeling of being watched was so overwhelming it made her skin crawl. She sped up, her breath coming in quick, shallow gasps. The streetlights flickered above her, casting eerie shadows that danced on the walls. She could feel it now. Something was behind her, something dark and malevolent, stalking her every step. Don't look back, you'll die. The voice was closer this time, almost a whisper in her ear. Panic surged through her veins. She tried to keep her eyes forward, but the terror gnawing at her mind was too strong. Against all reason, she glanced over her shoulder. What she saw nearly stopped her heart. A figure was emerging from the darkness, its face a grotesque mask of terror and rage. Its skin was pale, stretched taut over jagged bones, with deep, bloody gashes that oozed dark crimson. Its eyes were hollow, black voids that seemed to swallow the very light around them. Blood dripped from its mouth, staining the ground in splatters as it moved toward her with unnatural speed. Jasmine's scream pierced the night as she broke into a run, her legs pumping with adrenaline-fueled terror. But the creature was fast, too fast. She could hear it behind her, the wet, squelching sound of its feet hitting the pavement, the low growl that reverberated in the pit of her stomach. She stumbled, her foot catching on the uneven ground. She hit the pavement hard, her hands scraping against the rough concrete, but she barely felt the pain over the sheer terror that consumed her. She scrambled to her feet, her hands slick with blood, not just from her fall, but from the thick, warm liquid that now coated the ground around her. The stench of death filled her nose, making her gag. She risked another glance back and immediately wished she hadn't. The creature was closer now, its body contorting in unnatural ways as it moved, leaving a trail of blood and viscera in its wake. Its mouth opened wider, revealing rows of sharp, blood-stained teeth. Don't look back, you'll die. The voice was inside her head now, louder, more insistent. It was everywhere, drowning out her own thoughts, her own screams. The creature reached out with a bony hand, its fingers long and clawed, dripping with fresh blood. It grabbed her shoulder, and she felt the sharp claws pierce her flesh, the pain searing through her body like fire. Jasmine screamed again, louder this time, her voice raw and filled with sheer, primal terror. The creature's grip tightened, pulling her closer as it opened its mouth wide, ready to tear into her.